What is up, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 video. So today we are going to be covering the NOVESKE LITE rifle. I almost covered this mod a few weeks ago, but it seemed to be having some trouble both with just general working and with possibly some permissions issues with some of the parts for the mod or something. I'm not quite sure what was going on with it, but it kept getting taken down, so I decided to wait on covering it just in case it wasn't available after recommending it. But it seems to be up and stable and working just fine now, so I have decided to cover it. So let us get into it. Alright, so here we have the shorter range suppressed version I put together. Just a little bit of information, just for fun and so that you know. NOVESKE is a company created by John NOVESKE that creates a lot of AR platform parts and does a very good job. They are definitely one of the better AR parts manufacturers, I'd say probably in the world. I know they're very good and very reliable. I actually had an uncle that got to meet John NOVESKE early in his career and owned one of his rifles for a while, so I thought it was really cool seeing a mod about this company up here. But it's a very nice mod. It doesn't have a crazy amount of customization like a few other AR platforms on here, but it is very solid, and I do like that it has a couple options that are a little more specific to this mod, as far as I know there's a couple handguards I really haven't seen much before, so it was kind of cool just seeing another iteration, and this one is very good. So we'll go ahead and show you this one. Alright, my first issue is just a little excessively long drawing animation. It's a little weird that you have to, pull up the gun and look at it. Oh, and apparently you flip off everybody when you holster it. That's pretty funny. But this right here, it's a little longer than I'd prefer, a little excessive, but it is fairly quick, so it's not a big deal. But this thing looks pretty good. I know it uses see-through scopes, and I do like a lot of the scopes. I've tried a couple different ones here, and I really like this low zoom one. I also really appreciate that even with all of my various animation and weapon inertia mods, that the laser does not get broken. A lot of the times with my mod setup, the weapon lasers tend to not be anywhere near where the reticle should be, and this one actually stays pretty good. As you can see, I'll put it on this guy there. Let's see, let's go center mass. It's a little bit off, but it's fairly close. It doesn't stray really far away, because I've had some that would sit way up here while I'm actually aiming at the character here. So it can be a little odd, and I'm impressed that this one works just fine. And we'll get to shooting it. So as you can see, decent amount of recoil. It's a little heavier than I think it should be, but it's not terrible. It is fairly controllable. I know the other version I built is a little bit more steady, which you'll see in a minute when we're done with this one. But I like it. The weapon sounds are decent. I wouldn't say they're, the best one I've heard, but they are solid. I like the way the weapon looks. It's definitely modeled nicely. So it's a very solid AR platform. And then we'll check the animations. Okay, well, it's a little simple. I can't say it's my favorite reload animation I've seen, but it's definitely fine. It's fairly accurate. It makes sense. It doesn't look super wacky. There's no, vanilla Fallout animation where they pull the magazine out of the side of the gun or anything too weird going on, so I can't say I really have a problem with this one at all. It's just a little simpler than I prefer, but still looks good. Yeah, so this one is pretty solid. Now I'll holster that, let all the mannequins know what we think of them, and we'll go check out the other one. And so here, I built a little bit of a longer range style, longer barrel. The scope has about the same zoom, which I did not intend. I did want one with a little more zoom, but oh well, I still like the look of it. I do like how detailed some of these parts are. I like how the charging handle looks. I think it's a very nice charging handle. And we'll try this one out, and this one is unsuppressed. As you can see, it's a little bit steadier. I'm not sure exactly which parts make it so, but it was a little easier to hold on target. And the reload stays the same, even though it's a different magazine, which is fine, not a big deal. Yeah, I definitely like how smooth this one shoots, and I like the sound. I really like the unsuppressed sound. So I definitely think if I were to keep using it in my playthroughs, I'd probably run this unsuppressed. Yeah, I'd have to try some different scopes, but I actually really like the way this version looks and feels. Yeah, it is very smooth though. Yeah, I definitely like this one. Before we wrap up, we'll go ahead and show you a few of the customization options here for these, just so you can get an idea of what's available for it, and we will look at it. We'll go ahead and look at it on the long range one. So there is only the one receiver. There's a couple different magazine styles. Some shorter mags, the standard P mags. Nothing too crazy, but still offers a little bit of choice. There's a lot of gold parts, so if you're a fan of gold guns, this would definitely be the one for you. I'm not a big fan of them, so I kind of blacked out everything. But if you like that classic gold gun paint kind of thing going on, this one would definitely be for you. There's a couple different parts you can make different colors, a couple different barrel lengths. Let's see. It has the usual different rails, so you can choose whether you want lasers on them. Not a whole bunch of choices as far as lasers, but there's a few. A little bit of variety, which I like. The other thing this mod does, which I did not go through the full setup of doing, but there are canted sights, which it would be a sight, if I can get it to load here. Go ahead and make that are off to the side of the gun so that you can have such as a red dot along with a longer ranged zooming scope like this here. Again, I don't have it set up to do it. You have to go into a Discord and get the framework for it, and I really didn't care enough to go do all that. But it is something you can do, and I think it is very cool that it is incorporated. I do like the canted sights. I just don't particularly need them for playing in Fallout, so I haven't gone through the steps for it. But they look really cool, so even just for aesthetic, you can slap those on there and run with them equipped. There's not a lot of muzzle brakes. There is the standard one, and then just a bunch of different suppressors, which I think a lot of them look good, but I would prefer to see more standard style muzzle brakes, because I know NOVESKE does a lot of different styles of muzzle brakes, not just suppressors. But there is always a chance this gets added to in the future, because it is being consistently updated now that it is staying on the Nexus. So one can cross your fingers and hope for that. You can put some either deployed or undeployed iron sights, which, at least for this setup, I kind of prefer just flat across the top there, but it is something you can add. There's a couple different grips. They are very specific. So there's this kind of slanted hand stop style. There is one, if I can get it to stay here, there's one stick foregrip that has like the built-in bipod, which I don't mind. It's the one I'm using on the shorter range rifle, but it's pretty cool. And then there are these CQB style ones, which I go back and forth. Sometimes I really like them, sometimes I really don't care for them. But if you're a fan of these CQR style ones, they are an option. Or you can simply have nothing. There is a few different stock options. I'm a big fan of the SOP mod style stocks, which are these angled, little bit thicker ones. I really like how those look. There's a few skeletal style. There's a gold one, of course. There's kind of a CQB short style. And an extended one. So there's a few options here. Again, there's nothing crazy. It's not an absurd amount of customization, but I know that not everyone needs the same level of customization that I enjoy and some people enjoy, so I think it is just fine. There's a good amount. And then there is only the one pistol grip, sadly, but again, not a big deal. You hardly see it when you're using the weapon because your character's hand is always holding it, so not a big deal. You can make it automatic or semi-automatic. And then, last thing, there is the 2 different charging handles. There's the one on this rifle, which is the 2-post, so it's ambidextrous, or there is, if we can get it to stay here. There we go. There is the more standard AR style one. So, up to you what you prefer. But overall, I think it's a really nice mod. I definitely think it's worth adding if you're looking for some more rifles to be able to change out and use in your playthroughs, or if you're just a little bit bored of ones you've been using forever, and it is fairly new. And now that it's staying steadily up on the Nexus, I definitely recommend you give this one a try, especially with the added option of the canted sights, so you can go crazier with it and add all that if you'd like. But yeah, I really like this mod. I think it was very well done, though it had a little issues at the start, and I think it's worth trying. But that does it for today, folks. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.